How do I maintain a game or a studio's integrity? It seems like everyone is always on the lookout for someone to screw up. Wizards just recently demolished their reputation amongst their player base, and all it took was a single announcement. While people may not agree with you, they do at least seem to acknowledge that you're consistent, not to mention stubborn as hell.
I think... God, these questions are quite similar, aren't they? I think it's easier to maintain integrity or a consistent position the fewer of you there are. Like big corporations like Wizards, I mean, that screw up is partially because the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, right? Or people are in charge of making decisions about a product line or an arena that they know nothing about, and because they have their own expertise in their own particular area, they ignore the people who have expertise in the more relevant area. So unless you're a big multinational or national corporation, I think it's relatively easy to be consistent. But then a lot of people aren't consistent internally within their own worldview. I hate hypocrisy, and so I try very hard to avoid it. There's a wonderful passage about hypocrisy that I've quoted before. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's in Diamond Age by Neil Stephenson, and one of the characters is explaining that in order to be a hypocrite, basically, you have to try to do the right thing but fail. And they suggest that hypocrisy is therefore not the worst of sins, because you're trying to do something good and you're just coming up short. Yet, while I read that and I admire the sentiment and so on, hypocrisy hugely bothers me. I hate it when I make a mistake and end up looking hypocritical, and I loathe it when other people are hypocritical. When they talk about freedom or inclusivity or fairness, while at the same time being unfair and excluding people and all the rest of it. So yeah, that bothers me enormously. If it's basically just you and you're hiring a few freelancers, which is how it is for a lot of independent creators, then it should be quite easy for you to be consistent if you're a consistent, non-hypocritical person yourself. And it goes back to the same thing as the previous couple of answers. What it's important to do is to know who you are, what you believe, what you think, why you do what you do, what your goals are, and so on. And so long as you understand yourself and you try to hold to the principles that you hold dear, then you should be able to maintain integrity and keep to it, right? But everyone makes mistakes. I think that's something that's missing. That's something I find hard to acknowledge in myself, but will forgive in other people. That everybody is human, everybody makes mistakes, and that's different to being hypocritical. I also think in this space, this is the same motivation that drives people to say, if you're a Nazi, we don't want you in our audience, while meaning something much more broad than actual goose-stepping Nazis that have fallen through a time warp from the 1930s. But that's not where you need to be consistent. Your audience doesn't have to agree with you 100%. They won't agree with you 100%. And in a niche hobby like this, why would you want to exclude them? Now, the integrity you want is internal between the people who are doing the writing and the designing. And even there, you don't have to all agree. It's not exactly diverse if you do all agree. But as a company, as a production house, you should have some idea of what your internal values are as it relates to what you're producing. So what kind of material are you looking to produce? What do you want to say with it, if anything? So that's how you have integrity. Know who you are, know what you want, know what your values are, and try not to fuck up. And if you do fuck up, forgive yourself and forgive other people who fuck up. We need more of that in the world.